Looks like we are live, Cotton. Here you go.
Great. Guys, welcome to a special event. Tai Lopez has invited OMG Machines in to share an incredible lesson with you tonight. We're excited about it. Now, what you're looking at right in front of me is I'm sharing my screen. I'm in Facebook, and we want you to join us there because we're incredibly active with what we're going to show you tonight. We want you to be active as well. It's easy to find. What I want you to do is notice my mouse up here. It just search for OMG Tai, T-A-I. Click it in that Facebook search engine. It'll show you there. Get inside the group, and I want you to add yourself. We've got my co-host tonight, Fletch. Fletch, hello, man. How are you doing tonight?
Hey, Cotton. Dude, I'm excited. This is going to be a great event. I always like being able to come on and get to hang out with my friends a little bit, teach some people some things, and I'm stoked. So glad to be here, man.
Right.
Yeah.
We have another wild man joining us, Joe Marfolio. How's it going, man?
Good, man. I'm excited, ready to go. It's going to be an awesome night, so can't wait to get it rolling.
That's great. So I've got Fletch and Joe standing by right now while I'm talking to add you into the group. So what I want you to do is add there. And what I want you to do right here is I want you to post in the group where you're from. So right now I am in the wonderful, warm, and I'm glad I'm here, Miami, Florida. And thank God I'm here because I just got a phone call from my dad about the electricity might go out, an ice storm in the Midwest. So not what I'm looking for. So it's nice and warm here. I'm with you coming from Miami. We got Fletch from Phoenix, Arizona. Joe is like a polar bear out there in Carbondale, Colorado. So we are all over the place to bring you what we call the Perfect Process webinar. And what we're going to do tonight is just introduce you a little bit to us. Some of you might be familiar with us. We have been longstanding friends with Tai Lopez and had a great relationship with him for the second year running right now. And he has been recommending his people to get inside of OMG. And we're going to be showing you tonight an incredible why people have been getting in there. You're going to get to learn a little bit about some of the people that are in there. And I think you're going to walk away tonight illuminated, understanding why Tai loves OMG. So with that, we're looking right here. We got a lot of people in here. We got San Francisco, Wisconsin, California, Missouri, South Carolina. We got people in Mexico, Canada, people from London, Pennsylvania. There's a little bit of delay. So what I'm waiting on right now is there's about a minute delay. All of them are coming in right now. But what I want you to do is to get inside this group. We have Ohio, California. They're all going to start. It's going to be like raining locations right here. And I'd love to see where people are from, get you guys excited. I'm going to be asking you questions throughout the night, and it's just great to interact with you back and forth and to just see all the excitement that's going on right now. But with that, 2017 has started out with an incredible bang. Every year, OMG Machines is only open for a limited amount of time. And it's generally open at the first part of the year, then it closes down. And what we do is we focus on getting everyone that's inside ramped up and as successful as possible. We still have people coming in, posting all this stuff. So what I'd like to do is just take a moment and just kind of explain to you why we have this perfect process, why we've called it the perfect process. There we have Mike Long. You guys are very familiar with him. He's always on videos with Tai Lopez. He is part of OMG Machines as well. You've been getting your emails from Mike. So what we're going to do tonight is we're going to talk a little bit about OMG 2017. And I've got Fletch and Joe with me, and we're going to pull them in for different things throughout the night. Fletch and Joe, I just want you guys to confirm that you can see the orange screen up right now.
Yep.
Yes, sir. Yep.
Fantastic. And what we're going to be talking about tonight is OMG NHB 2017. And we have been around for quite some time. We're now entering into our 5th year of success. Now, on online courses and anything to do with anything online in the .com era, having a 5-year birthday or anniversary, half a decade says longevity. Things come and go, close, open, and we've been around for, this is the start of our 5th year. We're very, very, very proud of that. one of the things that we want to talk about you to why Tai Lopez get more in depth with that as we move along. We're not going to keep you very long tonight. And what we've done is with our group, we have had thousands of income reports and testimonials of the program's success. And it's very different than any other program on the internet. Over the course of 5 years, we've been able to help thousands and change their lives. And you're going to get to meet some of them tonight. You're going to get to see some written testimonials there from Facebook. But let's just dump into a few right now. You know, we have David Simpson from December 23rd. Picked up my first check from a new client today. I have my proposal for a mattress company with 30 locations in 2 weeks. Excited for what's to come. Then on Christmas Day, taking time out from his family. Merry Christmas to everybody. I made about $60,000. What I could directly attribute to OMG since I started. I'm so thankful for these fine folks who have created this program. Thank you to David Mills, you're a genius. Thank you to the rest of the coaches as well. Can't wait to see what happens in 2017. That's just a couple of many that you're going to see throughout the course of the night. But what I really want to focus on to tell you why OMG is so dynamic for everyone is this. You know, businesses, literally all of them have one thing in common that they need for survival. You know, with us being humans, obviously water is the most essential. I would say that this is a business's number one essential as water, what they need. And what is that? It's simple. It's traffic. You know, if a business is not getting targeted traffic to visit their location, to visit their online location, how can they sell? How can they thrive? That's why malls survive. That's why they put up shopping centers to generate traffic for these stores to have business. So if a business doesn't have traffic, it's kind of like us not able to have water. You kind of die. And, you know, online businesses to brick and mortar, if they want to scale, and especially if they want to pass their competitors, they need more targeted traffic. Not just any traffic, but targeted traffic. You see, there's been a massive shift in the last decade of how local businesses get more visibility for their targeted traffic. And, you know, 10 years ago, it looked kind of like this. You know, how many of you remember or maybe you still have one around, the yellow pages? You know, if you do, in the Facebook group I'm watching from my other screen, I want you to give me hashtag yellow pages. You know, I can remember being around and my dad, I would be younger and he'd go, hey, Cotton, I want you to go look up this number from the phone book. Or I want you to go look up this business from the phone book. And I'd have to go get it, write the number down, bring it to him on the couch. And that's how visibility happened. People spent thousands of dollars to place themselves in an alphabetical order by their own niche or category that they were in. You look for a lawyer, you seen the big on there. Some of you might be too young to remember that, but that's how businesses were found, and they paid a lot of money. But you see, things have really changed because this is present day. Phone books are dead. It's the way the dinosaur. No one uses them anymore. People are pulling out their iPhones and their smartphones, and it's metal and some glass, and they're pressing the screen. Whether you're looking for directions to get to the airport, whether you're trying to find your favorite steak restaurant, or whether you're trying to find something to do, a shopping mall, whether you've broken the windshield of your car, this is what you're using and pulling out to find businesses. And, you know, present day, you know, we have doctors, dentists, plumbers, lawyers, mechanics, restaurants, lawn care. Everyone is using their phones to find these services. And the thing is if you're not visible in these services, you could be a dying business. But let's talk a little bit about how important all of this is. You know, Google just passed Apple to become the most valuable company in the world. But here's what's funny. Both of them need each other hand in hand. You know, Apple creates the hardware to access the information that Google provides. So it kind of makes sense that one's number one and one's number 2. But Google right now is the most valuable company in the world. And what we talk about to get visible, for businesses to get visible inside the search engines, like I just talked about, it's called SEO, or search engine optimization. Forbes wrote an article and it says the local challenge for small businesses to do SEO. When you think about it, when a doctor and a lawyer or a plumber, they're experts at medical, they're experts at law, or they're experts at fixing a broken pipe. They're not experts at marketing, nor do they want to be. And it's a big challenge, because if they're not visible inside of Google, how are they getting their phone to ring? And that's where this big challenge comes for small businesses that is keeping a lot of them stagnant and even going out of business. Another thing is CNN Money states that the best jobs in America is marketing consultant, with a 10-year growth of up 41%. And it's going on everywhere. But the problem is, what type of marketing consultant? We're going to show you exactly what that is here in a moment. Now let's look at the landscape of just the internet all by itself. And, there's about 7.3 billion people that were recorded back last year about this time. And of that, over 46% of the population is on the internet. Think about that. Half the population. We're even talking about countries where electricity is scarce, where food is scarce. There's still almost half the population on the internet. Of that, there's 2.3 billion active social media users. And of unique mobile users, look at this, 3.7 billion. And of those active mobile social users, almost 2 million. And these numbers continue to grow and grow and grow. It's not going anywhere. Business owners are so desperate for more exposure, for more visibility and traffic to survive, that the demand cannot be satisfied. And I really want you to think about that. This is literally something that there's so many businesses, and there's not enough people to get them visible. And, with that, an article came out that just kind of, really anchors that down. The forecast says that SEO-related spending will be worth $80 billion by 2020. Think about that, $80 billion. If you guys would love to get a piece of an $80 billion industry, I want you to just type in hashtag 80. We'll let that hashtag 80B. How's that? 80 billion. That is absolutely an incredible amount of money by the 2020 that local businesses are going to be spending. Over the last 5 years, OMG Machine has helped hundreds on hundreds of entrepreneurs start their own online business, but without the risk of buying a physical location and the benefit of businesses actually applying to work for you. If you could imagine having the knowledge to be a consultant for any business, and you possess a skill that's rarely mastered or taught by anyone, and every business needs it. Just think about what it would feel like if you owned your own digital marketing agency in your own area, and you pick the businesses that you work with, and you actually get to help them. Watch them grow and stay in business. I know that's a good feeling, because that's what I do. But I know the question is, it sounds great, but how does all this happen for me? We're going to get to that in a moment. I'm going to show you a few more people and what they've had to say about OMG, and then we're going to dig in a little bit deeper. We've got people right here that said, I've tried several online courses, being in the online marketing niche for 12 years now. I've been in OMG since 2013, and one thing that separates OMG from 99% of all other online programs is they're here taught by highly successful people doing exactly what they said they're doing themselves. No theories, no assumptions, no BS, just plain value. Then you have here, I signed up for OMG because I had a life and health coaching business. I just started and had no idea how to build a website. Let me tell you, I learned that and so much more. And she goes on to just praise OMG about what it is. Here's a question that some of you might ask. Does OMG work in other countries? The answer is yes. Here's someone from Dubai. OMG was the only program I've ever bought in my life. I've never even spent $50 on purchasing an online program. I invested in OMG not because it's an online program. It's a way to do business, ethical, and a highly efficient way of building your own business from scratch. There's a very high return of investment. Then when you look here, this really makes me feel happy to get stuff like this come in. It was a great year to start my career change. Very happy with the team and the knowledge they provide. Notice what she says. I'm sorry today that I've spent 20 years ongoing medical studies and career. To understand that in 1 year of studies next to ongoing clinical work, I could gain so much. She's basically saying that being inside of OMG for 1 year, she's learned more than 20 years of medical study and how to monetize her knowledge. That's a pretty good feeling for us. Some more. When I joined OMG, I was making about $800 per month and my business was sinking. Now I'm at $32,000 per month. I have a very large amount of growth. That can be directly tied to Greg, Cotton, Fletch, and Joe. We're all in the webinars right now. And, this is the type of stuff that we see. We have more of them. And this is what makes us feel amazing, and we keep getting them in daily. One of the things that we want to do is I want to give you a deeper look in exactly why this process is so perfect. And I'm going to share with you exactly why businesses need us and why it's so important and why we teach something you really can't learn anywhere else. If you were to live in Orlando, Florida, and you had a pipe break, you would get on and you would search for Orlando plumber. And with that, Google would come up. And we would look down here and, I'd look for something that catches my eye. I might not go with the first one. I'll go with Orlando. See, I searched Orlando plumber up there. I might go with Sunshine Plumbing. But the thing is, though, is I kind of tricked you a little bit. This is on page 3. No one is going to go to page 3 to look for a plumber. They're going to stay on the first page of Google to find that. So Sunshine Plumbing might not even be in business anymore, but if they continue to stay on page 3, it's going to be very difficult for them to flourish. I'm going to show you exactly what's happening. So the question is, how much money is that single Orlando plumber, Sunshine Plumbing, losing to his competitors just by being on page 3? Well, Google tells us that. Google tells us exactly how many people search for. 1,600 searches a month happen for that keyword, Orlando plumber. They could get a possible 100 new clients by being in 1, 2, or 3 positions. I'm going to go very, very conservative at $300 per job. That's a loss of $30,000 a month. Over $1,000 a day they could be losing by not being visible in Google. Fletch, these are pretty conservative numbers right here. I know that you're pretty close to this niche right here. How accurate is this that they're losing $30,000 a month?
Very conservative, Cotton. Not only was I, really not just in this niche, this was my company. I was a contractor. I did home improvement and home services projects and jobs. 300 a job, a very, very low number. I know from personal experience, moving from not on the first page to the first page, it was like, it sounds stupid. It's like 100x, multiplier on the income and the revenue that we generated. Actually, just today, we had a plumbing company come out and I bought a reverse osmosis system for my house that was $6,000, right? That's 20 times the job cost that you have estimated here. So wow. It's not unreasonable at all to think that you can add that much to the bottom line of a company that you've got as a client. Right.
Sure. Joe, as a local business, can they survive very long losing $30,000 a month at a minimum to their competitors?
No. No. And the way things are shaping up, like you said, it's so different now than it was 10 years ago. If you're not on a top 3, 5 of Google, you're going to see, your business just shrink. And actually you can, if someone is on the top and moves to page 2, it could devastate their business. If they're on page 2 or page 3 and they go up to number 1, 2, or 3 at the top of Google, then it can just explode their business. I've seen contractors where we got them to number 1 and they're buying new trucks, hiring new employees. So it really, it's the new way that local businesses are getting their business. There's really no other source of traffic that is as powerful as the search engines.
I totally agree. Thank you, Joe. And, back to get to it, local businesses are desperate to work with us to get an edge over their competitors to survive in their market. It's literally life or death to them. And the thing it is, I really want you to understand there's an unlimited amount of businesses needing help. When you think about it, if you just think about driving through the main street of your own town, whether it's a small town, there's suburbs, there's large towns, there's medium-sized towns, there's everywhere. They all need your help. People that live on the outskirts, I like live in Miami. People that live on the outskirts of Miami and other places like Fort Lauderdale or Coral Gables or Doral or places like that are suburbs of Miami, they need help just as much as people that live inside Miami. There's doctors, lawyers, dentists, florists, roofers, there's pet groomers, there's mechanics, there's so many other businesses that need visibility to make that phone ring and to create targeted traffic. There's just not enough people out there that know how to help them. I started with OMG with zero knowledge of how to generate this targeted traffic or Google or consulting well over 3 years ago. And here's kind of what happened next. I was able to learn how to build my own website, and this is what it looks like right here. And I was able to take this perfect process that's inside of OMG, and I was able to go after some of the most lucrative keywords to search for in the country. One of them that I targeted was Chicago SEO, which stands for Chicago Search Engine Optimization. Chicago is one of the largest cities in the United States. And what it does is that's what businesses look for when they want to find people to get them visible on the search engines. And if you could see, there's 2 ads at the top of the page. I've held the #1 position in Chicago for the last 2.5 years consecutive. And I'm beating out people with agencies below that have as many as 50 to 60 employees. And I'm just little old me with no employees or anything, with the blueprint and the knowledge that I've got inside of OMG. Not only that, I didn't want to stop there. I decided I wanted to go after the biggest city in the world, Tokyo SEO. And as you can see right there, boom, #1 right there. And also the video below is right there. So it works. It's the perfect process. And here's what can happen. When I decided to take and use the OMG blueprint and use this same process on myself, I became my very first client. I tested everything out on me. I got myself those #1 positions. And here's what happened. You see, when you control traffic, targeted traffic, you control money. Within the first year I was in OMG, I was able to put 1.3 million in my retirement. This is 2014. And today, my business built by the OMG blueprint, and that's over $25,000 today and over $800,000 a month. And it's done by a duplicatable blueprint for success. What I really want to tell you is what you're learning inside of OMG. It's not like a school. It's not like a university. What it is it's entrepreneurs. And I'm going to tell you why it's different. Many people that sell online courses to pay their bills, to feed their baby, to make sure they have gas in their car. Not us. You see, what we do is we go out and run highly successful multi-million-dollar agencies, and we come back for 2 to 3 hours a week, and we share with you everything that we've learned. We share everything, mistakes, and we share that with you so you have advantages over everyone else. We are not selling anything just for the sake of selling it. You're getting premium information from the same information that you would get for clients like I have with Tony Robbins and Bob Proctor. You're getting that same information back to you and learning how we're helping those people achieve more targeted traffic so you're able to do it. So you're learning from entrepreneurs living and breathing and making 95% of their income from what they're out there doing, then coming back and sharing it. It's also an evergreen program that the blueprint is built on continued research and development. Like I just said earlier, I'm out there doing research and development from some of the top A-list clients in the world. So is Fletch, so is Joe, so is the rest of the people, the entrepreneurs that share their information with you inside of OMG. And you're getting the most cutting edge information. And months and months in advance from everyone else. We're duplicated and copied by many. But we're also being known for a reputation for a factory of success. Just like Saturday Night Live, everyone that goes there seems to go off and have a big Hollywood career, from Eddie Murphy, Dan Aykroyd, Adam Sandler, Will Ferrell, Chevy Chase. Same way Harvard. You get a degree from Harvard, everyone thinks that, hey, you've got a great job waiting for you afterward. New England Patriots, a winning dynasty. The Cardinals, Duke Blue Devils, Yankees, they're all synonymous with winning. And OMG Machines has raised the bar to redefine what winning is with free traffic. Over the last 5 years, we've continued to transform and help small businesses. We've been able to show thousands of people how to use our perfect process to help these small businesses and win, win, win. You see, mastering search engine traffic, there's no educational institution that can teach it. It's too fluid. It changes too often. You can't get a bachelor's. You can't get a master's. There's no PhD. In some cases, there's over 200 algorithm changes a year that happen to Google. We have Greg Morrison on our side, and with all of the other us that were incredible SEOs, we've been able to decipher and debunk every one of them, and many times months and months and months in advance. You see, we teach you the language of search engines. And when you're able to communicate with the search engine, when you know what it wants in just a few short weeks, then you can start to communicate with money, because that's what these small businesses need. Because if you can get them visible in front of the search engines, and you know the language of that search engine, now you can start charging to get these people visible, to get more targeted traffic. You see, we do this in a very, very, very incredible way. There's no products. There's no employees. There's no office space. How many times have you dreamed of owning your own business and you said, man, it's going to cost so much money for me to go out and for me to buy, a location, or to lease a location, or to have a product that's going to sell. I don't know. But not only that, to have the money to hire employees. You see, what we do is we show you how to do all of this without that, and to start making money very, very quickly. There simply is no smarter business model that I can think of that we've helped hundreds, even in the thousands of people start their own business without a location, without those employees, and without products. It's just incredible. And, but not only that, but we've got some of the top business minds and top motivators in the world that are recommending and pushing all of their followers to us because of our success that we've got documented, and because of the success that we've had with the people that they've referred over. Bob Proctor, and we're very proud of it, has given us his lifetime recommendation. This is an individual that, if you've never heard of Bob Proctor, I encourage you to search for him. He's been an incredible motivator and a success, and has transformed just a wake of thousands and thousands and thousands of lives over the last 5 decades. He is literally an icon for motivation and success, and gives us that lifetime recommendation. And Tai Lopez has recommended us for 2 years running right now. We're happy to start the 2nd year relationship with Tai, and he recommends, pushes people over to us, and he's heard nothing but amazing things come back. And that's why we'll continue to have a long relationship with him, and why he wants to get his followers in with us so they can transform their lives as well. So that gives a little bit about what it is. But what I want to do is I want to go back to the Facebook group really, really quickly right now. And what I want you to do is just this. If you understand right now how these businesses are desperate to work with us, I want you to give me a hashtag work with us. Because if they aren't out there right now getting visible in Google, if they're on page 3, like that other plumber that we've seen, Sunshine Plumbing, chances are they're not going to be in business very long. It's an $80 billion business. It's going to be growing. It's an $80 billion business. It's maybe even going to double. And that's what I'm talking about. So with that, you should be excited by all of this. But with that, you know what, Fletch? I know that you have been in OMG now for almost the entire time that it's been around. We have the hashtag work with us come flying in. What makes search engines so special that it not only works for businesses, but it works for other things as well? Now, we've talked about the consulting end of it and how we consult businesses and we get them visible on Google. But could you share with us another way that we can take over the search engines and make money that's not being with consulting?
Yeah, I've actually got two different kind of business models that, I've got an agency and we take on clients and take care of them. But when I first started with OMG, I had a construction company. I had no intention of becoming a full-time online marketer. I knew I needed to get my phone ringing more. And what I did was rank my own company, much like you did, Cotton, with cottongrammar.com. I had a construction company. I just ranked that. And the number of calls that came in flooded me, like in a good way, right? So I went from, getting like maybe 3 phone calls a month to booking 3 jobs a day. And at that point, I really didn't, want to set up a big organization. I didn't want to hire people. And I was able to kind of just sift through things and, look at it maybe in a different way than some other people had. And I talked to my subcontractors and I said, what if I could just forward these phone calls directly to you? And you can talk to them, you can sell the job. I know the numbers well enough that, the customer is going to get a better price. You're going to make more money and I'll be able to scale. It's a win-win-win. And, kind of through that process was able to build a lead generation style business very, very well. And it's something I've continued with. I've built software to help really facilitate making that work for everybody, to track my leads, to build my customers, to help the customers understand the nature of their business better, all that kind of thing. And it's also opened up opportunities for me to work with companies where I get some equity in the game, some stake in the game. So being able to not only, you talk about traffic and targeted traffic and the nature of lead generation, when you can make a business's phone ring, when you can bring new customers to the business that are looking to buy, that's a huge piece that you can bring to the table. And because of that, we've got equity deals now with several companies in a wide array of industries that are fun, that are just neat to work with. These are people with passion that have fulfillment and operations and everything already dialed. And we just, really get to kind of sit back and build websites and get traffic and, facilitate conversion in a way where everybody's happy. And when we get together, money that exchanges hands is done with a smile. And, it's really fulfilling. You talk about, helping people out, really. And it's nice to be able to help people out in a way that everybody makes money at the same time. So yeah, those are kind of two business models that I'm a big part of right now that we kind of operate with here in Phoenix that work very, very well. The agency, of course, I've got one. We're ranked #1 for Phoenix SEO as well. But it really just opens doors when people see what you can do and how much it transforms a business to be able to get that much targeted traffic and that many inbound calls and that many people who are filling out forms and submitting information to get more, more data on whether or not they want to, buy a product or something like that. So yeah, those are 2 other ways that I monetize being able to rank on Google.
Sure. And, with our perfect process, we've talked a lot about Google, but there's another big search engine out there that Joe Morfolio is a master of. And Joe, how can people monetize from another search engine? Can you talk a little bit about that?
Well, the #2 search engine that's out there is YouTube and video. And video is just growing, every day. More people putting videos out on YouTube. More people are looking to YouTube for answers to their problems. And one of the things I've done for the past few years is I like to find people that have a problem that they need a answer to, or they need help with right away, and I make a video for it, rank it on YouTube, and then also that video actually will rank #1 on Google, and then I have a solution to their problem in form of an info product or a partnership that I do, and then I make money that way. The other thing is since Google owns YouTube, it's very easy to rank a YouTube video on Google. Sometimes it's way faster than even ranking your own website, especially for a local business. And the beauty of having a video for a local business on YouTube is that when someone's searching for their service, the video stands out, right? So even if they're not #1, it's going to stand out on the page. And when someone hits that video and watches it, they get a personal relationship with the company, right? They're not just some static website anymore. A lot of times it might be the owner of the company on the website, or it might be them talking about their website. So the people get kind of an inside look at the company, and the conversions go through the roof. It really helps out with conversions immensely. So, we inside OMG, we talk all about ranking YouTube, how to make videos, where to get them made, how to get them made for very cheap, but have them look incredibly professional.
You know what, Joe? There's also another search engine, and Joe's a master at that YouTube search engine, and he's one of the people that once you pull the curtains back of OMG, then you're going to get to see Joe and get his perfect process. Joe has an incredible way to get videos ranked that I've never seen anyone do before. He's absolute wizard with it. But another way that we are going to reveal, not in this webinar, but in our 5-day thing is Amazon. Amazon has turned into an incredible search engine as well. It's literally become a beast on the internet. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a future webinar that we're going to reveal to you. But those are ways that we get inside of OMG and we show you how to monetize it. But the most popular and easiest way is to do that with clients. But what we'd like to do is also talk about a little bit about the community inside of OMG and the things you can learn. You've heard a couple different ways that people can learn inside of OMG. And one of them is what Fletch talked about is one through lead generation. You can own your own digital property and you can sell those leads to other businesses. And we've talked about YouTube to do video marketing. That's incredibly powerful. But we also get in and teach you a little bit about social media as well. So there's a lot of robust stuff that you can learn inside of OMG. But, Fletch, we also have an incredible Facebook group that helps people out. And it's literally like I've never seen before. It's almost like crowdsource answers. Could you just talk a little bit about what our community is like for people?
Yeah, when I joined, one of the things, I was brand new to this industry with online marketing, and I kind of sensed that I could watch videos and I could learn things, but having people that were kind of real time that I could develop relationships with was going to be something that really would help me move forward fast, and being able to share success as well as, I'm struggling here, what button did I forget to push? What thing did I forget to say was going to be a huge help. And, being able to see that, to be a part of it. And, you talked, it's 5 years now. I mean, we've got so many people that truly come to help. They come to deliver, to offer suggestions based on their own, again, success. This is not something that's based on some theory. You're not going and sitting in a lecture hall and letting somebody, sit and tell you about something they've never personally done. It's really cool to be a part of a community that has, because so many of us come from different angles, we've seen different things. We've experienced different things. We've been a part of, different business models and industries and things like that, that you just can't find that out there on the internet, because we've all kind of said, this is something we're going to be a part of. We're going to join, we're going to share. I haven't seen anything even close to um, like the OMG Facebook groups in just how much people care and want to share and want to help. So, from my perspective, and that's a perspective that goes back now over 4 years. It is one of the things that helps really turn the dial up for somebody who joins, that's watching the videos, that's learning, that just needs a little extra oomph that you don't get anywhere else. So, yeah, without those Facebook groups, it'd be harder. And, it's the only place you can get that kind of thing in OMG.
Sure. We've talked a lot about what OMG is about, and I'd like to show you what's inside of OMG. And what we're going to do is just talk a little bit about that right now. You guys can see my screen right now to where it looks like just some people on the sidewalk, correct?
Yes.
Great. We're going to talk about this year, Project No Holds Barred, NHB 2017. And every year we have a new program. We bring on new people that we want to just work with all year long. We're only open for a short period of time. And literally with OMG, it is the most recommended internet marketing course in history. We have more income reports. We have more testimonials than any before. We have some of the top motivators and success gurus in the world recommend us. I stated earlier, Bob Proctor has given us his lifetime recommendation. This is a very cool picture that was taken at a live event that we had at OMG. We have a live event every year. We asked people, how many of you were able to take this trip, pay for this $2,000 event with money that you have made from your profits inside OMG? And as you can see, almost 90% of the room raised their hand. OMG in the last year alone has helped over hundreds of people from our small coaching underground community, most of them beginners, newbies that have gone from 0 to mid 5 or 6 figures per month. And what it's about is you get an immediate advantage. When you get inside of OMG, what you're going to get is our recorded modules. It's going to take you by the hand, a step-by-step process that shows you exactly the perfect process of how we do this and how we handle some of the top companies and businesses in the world. But not only that, you're going to get an ongoing advantage because we have live weekly webinars, and I'll talk about that in a moment. But you know what? Once you get an OMG, you get a permanent advantage because once you're an OMG, you're an OMGer for life. Once the payments are complete, you have permanent access to your members area, the information, the Facebook group. It's something you get to keep forever. I'd like to talk about some of the OMG perfect process transformations. And one of them that was really, really near and dear to my heart is a few weeks ago, I had the opportunity of speaking to Francisco Ortiz for the first time. And, we really kind of blew me away. I'm going to tell you why. You see, Francisco took the OMG perfect process and he even took it to the level of difficulty over anyone else. You see, Francisco speaks Spanish, and he's from Mexico City, but he ended up in Switzerland. So he quickly had to learn another language. He had to learn how to translate. Not only English is his third or second language, but into another language, and he was able to get up to $10,000 a month recurring in Switzerland by dominating the search engines with OMG's perfect process. Now, I want you to think about that. Our process works so well, it transcends languages, it works in other countries, but Francisco really kind of touched my heart because other people in the group said that they were having a hard time with just English, and here's a guy that literally blew me away, that first language is Spanish, and is literally learning it in English and yet dominating Switzerland right now with Google in the search engines to up to $10,000 a month. And that's just one of our perfect process transformations. Another one, I kind of freaked out Fletch right here. I changed out the picture on him for what we normally do. This is the OMG perfect process transformation. Fletch, could you tell people a little bit about the before? And now you've got a new story to tell with this after picture. Tell a little bit about the after picture and just exactly how you got into OMG and what's going on right now.
Yeah, you threw me a curveball a little bit, Cotton. I've been looking at that slide for a little while now, and it's switched up. So The picture on the left, I mentioned a couple times in this webinar, I was a general contractor, Phoenix, Arizona. What we focused on doing was upgrading people's homes for energy efficiency. So one of the things I had to do was climb around in people's attics many times in the summer when their energy bills were highest and their bedrooms were least comfortable. That's when they'd call and figure out what was wrong with their house, whether it was their air conditioning, their insulation, whatever it might be. A lot of times it was in excess of 140 degrees. I know that because I had a thermal camera. It told me exactly how hot it was. And that one on the left was a selfie I did of myself that it was one of the last days I got in someone's attic. It's not a low quality camera. That was how much dust is actually in the air in someone's attic here. And it was kind of gross. Not only just personally, but it got, the business was doing badly enough that I couldn't keep up with my bills. And I actually got a phone call from my wife letting me know that our water got turned off because we hadn't kept up with our bills. And, there was just some things that weren't working, obviously, in my life. And it wasn't because I wasn't smart or whatever, but, just not having that process of knowing how to make my phone ring for things I could help people with, figuring that out and understanding how critical it is to making life work, let alone a business work. Let me, kind of build the picture on the right there, which is me, my wife, my 3 daughters. It's in Aspen. I grew up in Colorado. Aspen was kind of our high-priced neighbor. I grew up in a town called Steamboat Springs, but I got to take my family back there and stay downtown at a great lodge and show them really more of the culture of kind of where I grew up and how I became, whoever I was as a man, and share that with them. And I actually ran a live webinar from our hotel room in Aspen while, the wife and kids rode the gondola up and down the mountain and kind of checked out sights. So things are much better now. I don't forget, kind of where I came from, so to speak, and that it can be hard to see what life can become in 4 years. It's ridiculous for me to even look back on that and realize it was only 4 years ago. So much has changed and life is so much different now. And I'm just thankful to be here and be able to kind of contribute, tell my story, and hopefully help people understand what the nature of this whole thing is that we're doing.
Thank you, Fletch. Fletch has been one of the greatest transformations from OMG's Perfect Process ever. And next one up is one that's, Joe, I'd like for you to just kind of tell the story. I've told it before, but I think it'd be great hearing from you this transformation because you know a lot about it as well. You're a very close friend of Gregory Ortiz. So can you kind of tell people his transformation of where he was at and where he's at right now? Joe, are you with us? If not, your mic's there.
Yeah, I'm here, Con. I actually
great.
got bumped off, and I had to log back in. So it looks like I'm on twice.
Yeah. No, what I was saying is Gregory's a very good friend of yours. I was wondering if you could just kind of give the story about his Perfect Process transformation, about where he was at and where he's at right now.
Yeah, no, Gregory, we're really close, and I actually remember when Gregory first came into OMG, and he was working at Bed Bath & Beyond. He's making about $50,000 a year, and he was working really hard, and he was working full days. And I know he reached out to you, Cotton, when he was doing that, and he really wanted to change his life. He wanted to change his life for his family, for the new baby that he had. He wanted to be able to spend more time with his son, and he didn't want to be on that constant wheel, in that rat race where he's just exhausted when he comes home. He doesn't have enough money to do what he needs to do for his family. And so he really dived into the OMG training. And, I don't know many people who really wanted it as bad as Gregory. He would work all day, and then he would go in and study all night. He'd fall asleep on the train going to work. I remember he would tell me. And then in less than a year, though, he was able to change everything about his life. He started to get clients. Now I think he's making in excess of $100,000 a month. I think it was in about a year's time from what he was able to learn from OMG.
Yeah, and I like to know a little bit more about the picture there. He's in New Orleans right there. He's taking one of his first vacations. He has his son with him, and it's the What to Do Before You Die wall that's in New Orleans, and he was writing on there that he wants to give everything to his son. And Gregory's one of those people that literally transformed his life and put in all the hard work to get there, and consecutively does over $100,000 a month. The next one up is Leslie Goodyear. She joined OMG about a year ago, and she had never really built a website before and didn't have a lot of knowledge. Come in fresh and brand new. She was recommended in through Bob Proctor, and Bob Proctor loves to send all of his followers into us to give them ways to make a different revenue stream. And Leslie dug in and found it a little difficult in the very beginning and really asked the right questions, really stuck with it. And she took the whole thing, progress over perfection. And she was able to have a record-breaking month of making over $100,000 in one particular month. And, she's just been a shining example of those, and like OMG, of what you can do coming in with just a great attitude and not knowing really even how to build a website or how to do consulting or anything. And she's been burning it up. And I believe that she is in excess of over $40,000 a month reoccurring. So any age can succeed in OMG, whether you're 18 years old or whether we've even had someone that was 60s, in her late 60s, that continued, he was making $40,000 a month. The information is for everyone. And what we want to talk about right now is, what is Project No Holds Barred 2017? What's exactly inside of it? And we're going to get that right now. But first, you're going to get 3 live webinars weekly at a minimum. Generally, it's a whole lot more. And what I'd like to do is just give you a little preview of what people have to say about these weekly live webinars. The first one is right here. Thanks, Cotton and Joe, for another mind-blowing webinar tonight. I started OMG with no knowledge of SEO. The way Cotton teaches SEO, the newbies like myself, is awesome. There's another one right here. It says, all the OMG coaching webinars are great, but there's something very special about Assimilation-like webinars. Can't put my finger on it. Don't know where I would be without them. And once again, wow, what can I say? I'm still mind blown from tonight's Assimilation-like webinar, but then again, I'm mind blown after every light webinar. Thank you, Cotton and Joseph. Hey, everyone, we just added the group last night, started in OMG a week ago. Been catching up with all the replays. Tonight's webinar was one of my first, and all I can say is wow, 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 amazing. Cotton Grammer and Joe Marfolo, you guys simply blew my mind. And another one, there's absolutely nothing light about tonight's Assimilation-like webinar. This was some mind-blowing stuff. Every week you coaches break SEO down and provide some hard-hitting info. It's very easy to understand, even for newbies like me. Assimilation-like webinars are real OMG stuff filled with family-like environment, baby step learning, so no one is left behind. I have had all of my learning powered up by Cotton Grammer and Joe Marfolio each week. They bring so much value to my work as an agency. What a webinar. Assimilation Lights are so powerful. Last one completely blew my mind. I'm going to give you the whole weekend forecast you've seen. We could go on forever. There's literally hundreds and hundreds of testimonies. We don't even ask for them. It's people willingly and posting. They get excited about what they're learning on these webinars, how much money they can make, how they can run off and do it. But what I want to do is kind of give you the schedule of the week of what webinars to expect and what you can get once you get inside of OMG. We start out the week with Fletch. Fletch, I'd like for you to tell people a little bit of what they can expect when they get you every Sunday on your live webinars.
First off, we have a lot of fun. It's pretty much candid. Anything goes. You can ask any questions you want. You'll see this exact backdrop. This is me in my office speaking freely and, candidly, openly about, what I've done to make money on the internet, but also, kind of a rapid fire Q&A style, making sure people don't get stuck. on, specific technical questions about SEO, about setting up WordPress sites, about integrating social media, and then also just my general perspective on, what you can do to make money on the internet. Certainly not to limit anybody, but I always try to speak from experiences opposed to theory. I've done a lot of things to make money on the internet since I started, and I share that as much as I can with whoever joins me. So we have a lot of fun, and it's a great way for me to, kind of give back to the community and start the week right.
Sounds great. Then on Monday, we have, you can only get him, Greg Morrison, considered one of the top SEOs on planet Earth. He is the only way that you can get access to Greg Morrison is inside of OMG. Greg is one of these gurus that literally understands Google, lives it, breathes it, sleeps it, has data like no one else. It's absolutely incredible. You get Greg every Monday. You're able to tune into his webinars, ask him questions live, one-on-one. One-on-one coaching sessions with Greg Morrison are not even possible, but if they did, I would assume that they would run into the thousands of dollars per hour. You'll have instant access to him every Monday. If physical products is your thing, or if you've ever wanted to get started in Amazon, Tuesdays is going to be your favorite day inside of OMG. We have Liz Herrera, who is literally an Amazon queen. She has made millions of dollars off of Amazon. We also have a different division inside of OMG that just does physical products and talks about e-commerce. Liz is the head of that. She literally takes people that want to know how to get on Amazon and be successful on Amazon, whether you don't even have an Amazon account or whether you know a little bit or whether you're a veteran. I guarantee you'll be blown away by what training is inside and you're going to get every Tuesday. Then Wednesdays, our flagship webinar. I took a screenshot from yesterday. This was last night, right around the same time. As you can see, we had 1,400 comments right there. It's always an insane party that goes on. What we do is we have Joe Marfolio, myself, and Stephen Floyd. We get on assimilation webinars inside of OMG. The first 4 months, we break down and show you the A's and B's of how to do search engine optimization, how to get your digital agency up and started, how you can start monetizing it. Then we start getting downright insanity. We start giving you some of the most cutting edge stuff after about month 4 that you can get on the internet with digital marketing. We are copied, replicated, stuff is stolen from us from our research and development. We go crazy. We give that to you directly every week. Once again, remember what I told you. We go out, we run our businesses, we come back a couple hours and share what it is, our research and development and everything. We also have some top guests that are always on assimilation. It is literally a must attend every Wednesday. And Joe, was pretty exciting night last night. We had almost 1,500 comments, but this was kind of a mild comment night for us. We've had comments as much as over 5,000 on a single webinar, haven't we?
Oh yeah, for sure, for sure. I mean, and it is exciting because what it is exactly what the webinar is named, assimilation. We're helping people assimilate into this new way of making money, this new type of business that they're going to have. And as we take them by the hand and go step by step, we make sure no one's left behind. And really, it creates a lot of energy. Sometimes we bring people on live. If someone's having a problem and they ask us a question, we just can't answer it, we unmute their microphone, and then they get to talk to us one-on-one. We get to help them work through their problem because we don't want anyone to be behind. I mean, basically, if you have a desire and you put the effort in, we are going to make sure that you're going to succeed. And Assimilation Light and assimilation is a big part of it.
Great, thank you, Joe. And then we've not talked about our members area yet. We've had a chance to talk about our incredible live webinars, but we're going to show you what you're going to get inside your members area that you get to log into. You're going to get over-the-shoulder training from 100K per month earners, people that I said that are out earning, not being a teacher. They're not reading from a book. They're not making their money from selling courses that don't work. They're actually out making 95% of their money from their digital marketing agency and coming back and sharing with you what they're doing. That's our perfect process. That's what we do. You're going to learn the mastery of client consulting. You're going to have myself from Fletch. Fletch has a #1, digital marketing agency in Phoenix. I have one in Chicago, Miami, Orlando. You're going to learn from people who are out there living and breathing and doing it with clients every step of the way, from rebuttals, objections, to how to handle contracts, to everything else. But the most important thing is you're going to get the mastery of search engines, not just Google, but YouTube, Amazon, Facebook, LinkedIn, all the other ones. We like to cover all search engines. With Google is the one that we focus on the most. You're going to be able to be a master at all these things. And if you don't know, we're going to teach you how to be a master of affiliate marketing. If you don't know what affiliate marketing is, it's selling other people's products. You build a website that's specific, or like one of the founders of OMG, Greg Morrison, he sells e-cigarettes online for electronic cigarettes. And this site makes as much as $50,000 a month. If you get over the shoulder watching how to do that, I know that Joe, you've got an over the shoulder coming with something in Costa Rica that you guys are going to be doing. It's going to be very exciting that you're going to reveal in 2017. Real businesses exposed, and literally A to B of how you can set it up yourself that's successful. It's very exciting. You've heard Fletch talk about the mastery of lead generation. One of the ways that he makes money, you set up your own digital property, you sell those leads out to particular businesses. If you had a personal injury attorney and they wanted the phone to forward over to them, they'd pay per phone call or per lead. We show you how to do that. The mastery of Amazon. If you want to learn physical products, if you want to learn to take on clients that want to get their physical products online, you're going to become a master of Amazon if that's something that you want to do. We're also, e-commerce is something that we're starting in 2017. More businesses than ever are starting up, but not brick and mortar. They're starting up online. And knowing e-commerce is one of the most essential things that you can do in the online world right now, especially in this day and age. But not only that, in OMG, we really, really, really want to focus on mindset. You can have the utmost information, the most accurate information. You can have our perfect process. But if you're not going to go out and you're going to get the job done, it's worthless. And Alchemy is one of those things by David Mills you're going to get access to. David Mills has put over 90 hours of content on there that's got over hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of comments and testimonials about how their lives have been changed, about how their minds have been wired right for business, because, the information without the right mindset doesn't work. And you need it. And we focus on that huge inside of OMG. It's another bonus you're going to get. Alchemy is a key component of that. Once you get inside of OMG, you're going to want to listen to it, and you're going to want to take part in it. You've heard us talk about it before, but people say the most valuable part about being inside of OMG is our Facebook group. If you've never been inside of a Facebook group to where you have crowdsourced answers, to where you're going to make lifelong friends, people that just are going to be around forever. Some of my best friends right now I have made inside of OMG. Fletch, Joe, Gregory Ortiz that you've seen. These are guys that I normally talk to 3-4 times a week, if not daily. I started to get to know them inside the Facebook group. Now they're my best friends. And, the relationships that you're going to be able to forge, just think about so many people moving together in the right direction. It's so unlike any other online course that you've ever taken before. Normally, you buy them, you're left alone, you're forgotten. They've got your money and they run. It's not like that. We're going to be around to make sure that we hold your hand, but not only that, that you're going to forge friendships that's going to last a lifetime. From our live events, from our Facebook group, the community is one of the highlights that you're going to get once you get inside of OMG. Is OMG worth $100,000? I actually asked this question to our members, and this is the response that I got. I copied and pasted to cover the whole screen right there. We got it. It just kept flowing and raining these $100,000 comments on here. We were very, very, very shocked and proud that people feel that indeed it is worth $100,000. I went a step further and asked our community, is joining the best decision that they could have made? And I copied and pasted and put on here. You see, hashtag best decision ever. It's just raining down. And, people really do feel it's one of the best decisions that they ever made. But the question is, OMG Machines, is there a catch? And there are a couple catches to it. And I'm going to go over those catches right now. And first of them is OMG doesn't include telephone coaching. And what we do is we offer our training through live recorded video modules, and there are thousands of hours that you can access. And we also do it through our live coaching webinars where you'll have instant access to ask our entrepreneurs one-on-one questions in a question and answer format, but also they'll provide lessons that they've learned through their business throughout the week, cutting edge research and development they're going to be sharing with you through live webinars. But what we do not do is get on the phone and do one-on-one coaching, or we do not do Skype phone calls. It's simply group learning or video module learning. Also, OMG is for the serious-minded person who wants a massive advantage, and not for the person who wants it all done for them. You'll need to think and act like an entrepreneur, not like an employee. It's one of the things you'll do. We're not going to do everything for you. We're going to give you that perfect process blueprint that's helped thousands of people, but you're going to also have to put in the work to build it yourself. We want you coming in with the right mindset for that. And last, we do not offer refunds. It's something that we've done now for 5 years consecutive. The reason is we want you to come in with the mentality of no quit. We want you to burn your boats when you're taking the island. It's the attitude that we want you to have. We don't want you to come in as a look-see-loo. We wouldn't want to put people that are half in, half out, putting them in front of our entrepreneurs and wasting their time. If you're serious, like all the thousands of people that have joined OMG, come in, dig in. Our perfect process is guaranteed to work for you as it's worked for thousands of others. It's just a matter of time, effort you put in. But we do not offer refunds. You know, with OMG Machines, a full year of training and coaching and masterminding with Greg Morrison, myself, Liz Herrera, Stephen Floyd, Joe, or Fletch, who's on here right now, would be a steal at $20,000. Especially, you heard me say that some of us would charge well in excess of over $1,000 an hour, even if we did one-on-one coaching, which we don't. But this year, we have the most incredible price ever put toward it right now. Project No Hold Barred, NHB 2017, at $499 a month on a 16 pay. Now, what you'll do is to access that, where you're watching the video right now, you'll see a link underneath that. You will click on that right now, and you'll get, it'll take you to another page. But you're looking at learning something for less than $125 a week. That alone, you cannot go to a regular university. You can't learn what's being taught there. It's absolutely incredible what you're going to learn inside of OMG. You know, one of the things that people also statement is wow, $499, it's a lot of money. You know, one of my mentors told me something that was very powerful, and I always remembered it. You know, he says that one of the key ingredients that makes people successful, that separates literally the 0.1% of people that have all the money, is simply this one rule. They never say they have a lack of resources. They're always more resourceful than everyone else. So I want you to remember that. It's never about your lack of resources. It's about your lack of resourcefulness. So if you want to be an entrepreneur, we've shown you how you can set up your own business, no location, no employees, no products, no anything. It is literally about the cheapest shoestring budget. You can set up your own business to make, as you've seen, some people make 5 to 6 figures a month in very few short months. This is your chance. If you're wanting a chance to have the time to do with what you want, not getting someone else wealthy. You know, if you're working for someone else, you're helping them with their dream. You're helping them get wealthy. I think it's time that you start working on yourself. So with that, when you get there, you're going to see that it looks just like this. And you'll click on this link right here that says the open letter. It'll take you right here. You're going to see Bob Proctor up here talking about, speaking out about the incredible success of OMG. You get to see the live video that I talked about before, where people said that they were able to come with the profits they made inside of OMG, and just an incredible letter to spend time to read it. We talk about the advantages that you're going to get, all the training that's upfront from people who are currently having massive success, the ongoing advantage that I talked about earlier, additional training, exclusive resources and webinars. You're going to get all of that, but that permanent advantage that you're going to be permanently involved in the Facebook group, their subgroups, the other stuff. It's absolutely incredible. So what you do is simply scroll down to the bottom of the page, and you know what? We're going to look for the link right here, and you're going to click on this. It's going to take you right into where you can sign up for OMG. You know, it's one of the best decisions you'll ever make. If I wouldn't have made it, you know, myself, I'd looked around for months and months and months to try to find a program that literally was going to give me what OMG did. And I wanted to be a business consultant, but I knew that I didn't have this. It was just something I knew that was lacking. You know, I just couldn't put my finger on it. And when I could see what they did with targeted free traffic, I knew that that was a missing piece that I had. If I would have never joined, I don't know where I was going to be. I might be a car salesman at this point, and I'm being very serious when I say that. By me getting inside of OMG, it literally transformed my life and literally helped me just alter everything in the amount of money that I make. And the blueprint is real. It's how much you put into it. And it's just absolutely incredible. You know, Fletch, I know there's a lot of people that are, you know, kind of wondering right now whether it's for them or not. What would you have to say to just kind of push someone over the edge to get them inside of OMG and why it's worth it?
Yeah, Cotton, for me, I mean, I've spent a lot of money in my life and a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of, you know, emotional investment and trying to figure out really my place in the world. You know, you talked about where you might have been if you hadn't understood that getting this, you know, mastery of traffic and targeted traffic, you know, if you wouldn't have understood that as well as you did after watching an OMG webinar. I feel the exact same way. I have had several businesses in my lifetime that just didn't quite work, and it wasn't because of my lack of skill at fulfilling them. You know, there were things that I did pretty darn well, but you know, the nature of the world right now, when people have problems, they go to the internet for a solution. They ask Google questions. You know, they don't necessarily ask their best friend where they should go get their car fixed. They ask Google where they should get their car fixed. And, you know, we're lucky. Everybody here is lucky because at this point in time, you happen to be at the right place to see this webinar in this monumental shift in how people solve their problems or start figuring out how to solve their problems. And it's search engines. And if you want to be part of something that really shifts the world, definitely shifts your life, you need to learn this. You need to master this skill. You need to, you know, kind of take ownership of the direction that not just your life's going, but your influence on the world is going. And, you know, I know a lot of people on here are part of that. They know that's important, right? They know that it's important to get your message out there. This is how you do it. Like, bar none, whatever your message might be, it can change. But if you can get in front of people who need you exactly when they need you, you're going to win. You're going to be able to help people. You're going to be able to make a ton of money. You're going to be able to feel good at night. And people are going to thank you for it. They're going to pay you and thank you. So, yeah, for the right people that are on this, and I know you're watching, I look forward to seeing you on the inside.
You know, Joe, I'd like to move it over to you. What would you say to someone right now? We have hundreds and hundreds of people that are still on right now, and they're just kind of watching. What advice would you give them to tell them that's going to push them to get them inside of OMG?
Well, you know, if you're watching this and, you know, we're at the end of it and you watch this whole thing, obviously there's something in your life that you want to change, whether, you know, monetarily, more, you know, maybe you want to quit your job. Maybe you want more time. Maybe you want to travel. You want to work on, you know, you want to work online. You know, there's no better way to do it than through OMG. And, you know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's easy, that you just, you know, get the course and your bank account fills up with money. You know, no, it takes effort and it takes time and it takes effort. But you have to make that effort and you have to do something extraordinary, something that nobody else is doing, that maybe your family's not doing or your friends aren't doing. If you want to live different than they're living, right? If you want to live in a way, if you want to live a life, that you've always dreamed of. And the thing about OMG is that it's not just a bunch of training. It's just that you come in, there's just a bunch of videos. It's an actual community where, like we brought up with the Facebook group, where people work together, where people support each other. And, before I joined OMG, I did internet marketing. And, I had I had clients and I was making money, but I was all by myself. And the beauty of OMG is once I joined, I was able to be with like-minded people. If there was a situation or a roadblock that I ran into, there was always someone to help me. And, for you guys listening right now, if you want to make money, right? If you want to not just make money, if you want to change your life, change your family's life, this is how you can do it. I don't know of a better way that you can do it in a stronger community that's going to help and support and bring you along.
Thank you, Joe. I'm going to give my last words. What I'd like to kind of share with you is this. I'm in the Facebook group right now, and here's what I do know. If you're working for someone right now and you're tired of building their dream and you want to start building your own, I want you to give me #dream. Because they did something that at this point, maybe you haven't had the chance to do. Maybe you do own your own business. You want to do this for search engine optimization, but you know what they did? You know why you're working for them right now? The simple reason is because they started their dream. They took the first steps to do it. If they wouldn't have done it, you might not have a place where you're making money right now. But what I want you to think about is there's not very many people that can be in that 1% that can work on their own dream and not work on someone else's. And this is the opportunity, what we call our perfect process, where you're able to do that right now. I want you to take an opportunity to bet on yourself for once. They say there's no risk, there's no reward. With entrepreneurs, they have to take risks. You've came here either by recommendation from, Ty Lopez has talked about us, Bob Proctor. We've had several online just powerhouses talk about us and how people need to come over. So you have the proof that you need. It's not about the proof. We've shown you income reports. We can show you Facebook groups where people have just posted testimonials after testimonials. We have our own Instagram channel powered by OMG. We'll post a link right in here so you can check it out. That's income report, testimonial after testimonial. There are hundreds just after the last couple months. The proof is there. The proof is there. The problem is what do you need to ignite inside of you to take that first step? Remember what I said. It's never about your lack of resources. Money is a resource. It's a lack of your resourcefulness. That is exactly what makes the 0.0% and why they have that money. That's it. Because they are able to be more resourceful than anyone else. They're able to believe in themselves and bet on themselves when no one else can. And you know what? A lot of people, when they started their own business, I want to make this very clear to you. They didn't have a perfect process. No one slapped down a blueprint and said, oh, you want to open up a jewelry store? Oh, here's where you buy the jewelry. Here's what you tell people. Here's what you do. No one does that. They think they have the answer, but they're not sure. What we've done is over the last 5 years, you're going to get the exact blueprint of how to run a business with what every business needs to thrive, targeted traffic, and a step-by-step process, a perfect process that you're not able to get anywhere else from people that I myself did over 11 million in 2016. You're going to get that perfect process literally for $125 a week. You can either go to school, and people that are graduating still aren't getting jobs. The average job rate is $42,000 a year, or you can take a chance and do it. That's why you're listening right now. What I want to do is right now, if OMG is interested, if you're fired up right now, if you're ready to take a chance, what I want you to do is I want you to give me a #I'm in. Just I'm in right there. I'm in. And what I want you to do is if you just will find a way, no matter what, to make sure that you can get in, do it. Do it. You know, there's a lot of you that are watching. There's still hundreds and hundreds of on right now. Give me an I'm in if you're going to find a way to get in. That's what entrepreneurs do. Right there. We have one right there that's in. Couple more coming in. You know, it's brave to say. How long is it going to take for you to bet on yourself? You've got the blueprint to do it and get in. We want to help, as Mike posted earlier, we want to help change your stars, but we can't take that first step for you. Once again, all you have to do, you see the sales page. You're going to click on this link right here to the open letter of NHB right here. That's going to bring you to this page. You're going to scroll down till you find this green. It's going to be right here, this yellow. You're going to click on that. It's going to open up right here, and then you can still get to our sales page and get it right here. We're going to be back tomorrow with another incredible lesson. You know, we couldn't get everything in there right now, but if your thing is e-commerce, if your thing is Amazon and physical products, you're not going to want to miss this webinar tomorrow. Even if you sign up tonight, what you're going to learn tomorrow is literally going to just get you so excited that it's going to blow you away. That's going to be tomorrow at 5 o'clock. Look for it. You know, but this is what we need you to get in tonight. If you feel that this is something that you can do, if you want the edge over other businesses, if you want to be able to provide targeted traffic, there's several other people saying, I'm in. They'll find a way. That's right. If you're an entrepreneur, you will find a way. It's never a lack of resources. It's a lack of your resourcefulness. And we have right here a best choice ever. Someone that's maybe already inside of OMG and in there. Send me the money. You know, that's why people are not successful. They want handouts. Handouts. Entrepreneurs never look for a handout. What they do is they get resourceful. They find ways to make stuff happen by any means necessary. With that, I want you to be one of the testimonials that we see next year. I want you to be one of the transformation stories that we've seen, along with the hundreds and hundreds of other people. With that, guys, click the button right below the video. Join. We have people saying that they're going to find a way to get in. With that, Fletch and Joe, any last words before we go?
No, just it was a great time being on here, and I hope to see everybody inside. I can't wait to see you guys on Assimilation Light, and to hear your story at the end of 2017. Hopefully we'll be talking about you and your success and the things that you worked through.
Great. Fletch, any last words before we go?
Some kind of struck me this webinar. I don't know why it hasn't before, but the last webinar that I was really on that was like a presentation was one I watched 4 years ago with Mike and Greg presenting this offer. And every webinar that I've been on since, I've been a part of, right? It was interactive. I could ask questions and get answers back and everything like that. And it's a very big difference to not be on the outside trying to figure out what you should choose, but to really be a part of something that you're getting to interact with. So yeah, I'd like to be able to interact with people that are on this this webinar, their last kind of marketing webinar, so to speak. Anyway, that's just a thought I had. Look forward to seeing you on the inside.
Great. With that, guys, I'm Cotton Grammer. Look for that special webinar tomorrow at 5 o'clock. We'll see you then. Thank you.